Hey guys, welcome to another live question and answer. We're here with Jimmy. We just finished an online class that we're going to talk about. We're sorry though, let's get to a little business first, Jimmy.
Yes.
But sorry about last week. We had a heating emergency at the house, meaning we had no heat, so things had to be done, you know.
Oh, so Patrick didn't chop down the tree in the back and.
Well,
and,
we don't have a wood stove, unfortunately.
Oh well, you guys we got a Patrick.
So we
Come
have
on,
an
man.
old unit, and when I first moved into this house, the house was built in '58, which is the year I was born. So the house and I were born the same year.
Oh,
Yeah.
Look at that's almost like a Little House on the Prairie.
And
moment.
things are happening to the house, like, wood's falling off, things are falling
Honey,
off.
the door needs fixing.
We're losing shingles. We're
We got to get you that real good Ronald Reagan dye job kit. I think that's still out there on the market.
I don't know what that is. Jimmy.
Well, don't worry. We'll get you looking like 30 years younger in the next in a week.
I have one word for you: plastic.
Well, we'll get you to the gym. We'll get the hair back. Well, the world will be a
Trying
better
to give
place.
me a makeover, Patrick. What do you think of that?
Extreme makeover.
Hey, that's right.
Speaking of houses.
Hey, right after the upholstery show, we can do the extreme makeover. The Kevin
Why
Kennedy.
is it me?
Kevin Kennedy.
Well, I'm not losing my hairline yet, so
my
maybe
God.
a little bit, but.
Don't you know the rules? The rules I can only pick on you and everybody else. Nobody can pick
Yeah,
on
well,
me.
look, when you start going younger and you're not looking younger.
All right, let's get right to
Line ran away
business.
from.
But we are going to get to Jimmy on his online class, and also he'll read some YouTube comments. And all right, now we're happy that we have 21,000 subscribers, Patrick.
Yes.
And as usual, that Facebook is really the Facebook.
I haven't admitted anybody in a couple of weeks.
You know why? I snuck in there and.
Oh, you
there's a bunch
have?
of people, yeah.
But
you
usually,
did?
you know what it is too? I usually see that on my
Yeah.
Facebook, and I'm not seeing it. Maybe I got
I think
to.
I'm getting there before you or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love the rhetoric. I love that people are answering each other's questions on there. And I think somebody was looking for an online class. They didn't realize we did them, I think, or something, Patrick.
Well, that's where I kind of said they would go to
chimed
Upholstery
in.
on Broadway. We have YouTube videos.
And I think they
and,
bought one of the classes, so that's
good.
appreciated.
Even better.
It's
Yeah.
what supports us, really.
Do
This
I get
effort-
do I get a commission on that?
I told you, the
One
platform.
large pizza.
Yeah. Oh, I'm good. If you throw I'll give you the money for the sausage and onion, baby.
Someday we might have to follow through on our.
Yeah,
the royalties for
yeah. Let's see the old stock report that I have never gotten a check from. That's probably about 8 years in the making.
Please forgive us, but we don't even get paid for this, really, a lot.
Yeah, kind of. So yeah, okay, yeah.
But we think that the effort that we put here in the future will pay off at some point. Will be a big effort.
I mean, you look at all the lessons, and people
Yeah.
again, with the tidbits of YouTube. I mean, the thousands. I'm going to say thousands, and that's a little exaggerated, but all the lessons you've done with the YouTube videos over the years, and how long that's been now?
10 years, Patrick? Over 10 years?
11 years.
11
Okay,
years.
so 11 years of how to, and people always get curious about, let's see what this is about. I've never done this. Let's see what this guy can do. All of a sudden, you're going from mini lessons to like you're buying lessons on your website.
Yeah,
And
one
you
thing
get-
leads to the other, but
Yeah.
we love the fact that people do take advantage of the free stuff, which is the YouTube, which is the Facebook,
Yes.
right? And with the online classes, we charge a little bit for, but those two things, the Facebook and the YouTube, people can get a lot out of too.
Well, I think we've expanded since you started doing the online classes.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
the Ottomans. We have the channel back here, which is on the settee.
You're doing the wing chair now, which
right,
is up there.
right,
And Patrick loves to, put those little photographs in of you with the shells around you, and
Tide coming in.
you're at the beach.
Yeah.
High tide,
Yeah.
Aquaman is at the
I'm
beach.
still. I don't see any color though. I'm not getting any tanning.
I can edit that in if you want.
Yeah. Maybe if we can do that, maybe like with my head and superimposed on Arnold Schwarzenegger or Lou Ferrigno, all tanned up
I
and.
think now we're going too far.
I'm trying to help you guys out now. My God,
We have a.
I think you should address that first as an email submission for you.
Oh, right now we'll read this. Is just came in.
Well, it came in last night, I think.
Okay, this is from Robert. I enjoy your videos on YouTube, except for Jimmy. No, I'm just kidding.
Where's that shot? Where's that rusty knife? I think.
I enjoy your videos on YouTube. Below is a photo of my chair and foam. Oh boy. They're chairs fabricated in China, brought some 20 years ago. In the second photo, you see the 4 pieces of high-density foam that I cut 3/4 of an inch all around large. I want to finish the project before Christmas. My wife is getting nervous, but I am an overall handyman, and I'm not too concerned, but this is a first for me. What I plan with my questions. Number one, I ordered, oh boy, we got a long list of questions here, and it
Well,
sounds like
you know what,
I'm
this-
thinking I think Michaela should respond to this as you're answering. It's an email, so Michaela, I'll get I know we usually do it at the end, but he wants to get your advice what to order, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, I get this feeling that I'm not finishing this right now, but I get the feeling that even though he's a handyman, he's asking me to, show him or teach him all this skill in a. I can't do that. I don't think anybody can do that.
Well, I think you try to abbreviate.
So I think actually what he's looking for is, so there's one question in here that I see, and then I think he's asking about the steps that he's taking, if that sounds right.
I thought he was sending us a list of what to get.
Well, this is going to require my board and to try to draw out. I think it's too long. I don't think we can do it in a. I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at this. I'm overwhelmed.
Well,
by
you know
he's
what?
asking.
I would probably try to get an email detail to him as best you can. It may be.
We need to refer him to some online videos. That's
Yes,
all I can do.
I would
I
definitely.
mean, it would be like you coming to me. You're a handyman.
Yeah.
You've done other things.
Right.
You've done woodwork. It would be like you saying, Kevin, tell me how to upholster this wing chair.
Right.
You know how ridiculous that is.
Right,
I'm not
it's like-
saying that Robert's ridiculous. I'm just saying I think he's not understanding the skill building that goes into just upholstery.
Right. There's steps. Everybody
Right.
has to remember there are steps, and especially if you were to build a wingback chair from scratch and have absolutely nothing, there would be layers. You would not just like throw something in together. Here we go.
Right,
It would
right.
be 4 to
Well,
5
in this
layers.
case, this is interesting because he's got all the parts. He's
Right.
got all, but he's asking, okay, tell me the skill now.
Yeah.
In an email.
Well, all I can say is maybe tonight, tomorrow, get back to him and
We
give
might be
him.
able to do it during Michaela and I's. I think what we could do is recommend maybe.
Yeah, Malcolm says sell him the course and move on.
Wow.
That's very business.
Wow,
I think
Mal-
Malcolm is right.
wow.
I mean,
You guys, wow.
Well-
No, so much for being nice to someone.
We'll get back to
Kick
him.
him in when he's down. That's what I say.
I don't think Robert's watching the question and answer, but if he
Well,
is,
you never know. I mean,
we'll get back to him.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll
Do it at
what
the
to
end.
think
Yeah, it's
about
more
it.
part of the Michaela's
Yes.
Well, I
segment.
can
thought it was.
just answer it.
She's gonna
He's
answer.
only asking basic questions.
Okay.
Let Michaela. Then we want to hear what you answered with that, Michaela, because she's got time. She's sitting over there. She's got time to do it right now. Let's get back to Michaela, okay? So what was I doing? Okay, Mona. You got Mona?
You have some really good YouTube questions this for the past 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
No.
I'm gonna. I guess I just got one Facebook, Patrick, with Mona.
No, there's 2. There's 3. You mixed
I don't know what happened to the other one. Let me see. Sorry, guys.
There's
we're a
one from
little-
Nico. There's one.
Oh, okay, that's one,
2.
and then there's another
There's
one.
one more.
Sarah Penna, 3 altogether. So do you got Sarah's up there
Well,
first?
none of them have pictures except,
Okay.
except for Nico.
So this is Facebook. I'm going to be maybe answering some questions from Facebook. The first one's actually kind of interesting. And upholsterers are problem solvers. I've mentioned that before. And Sarah has a question about tags. Let me just read it to you. Sarah says, how do you determine what size of decorative nail to use? Not talking about the head, but the length. She's talking about the shaft. Say I'm doing French nails over gimp in velvet fabric, 1/2 inch, 5/8 inch, 1 inch. Why are there so many sizes, and what would be the standard size? So I only use 1/2 and 5/8. The 1/2 inch I used for compromised wood, and also could be used if you're going through gimp and fabric, but you have to test each one. I mean, she might not have either one of these and she wants to order them. I suggest you order both of them. I suggest you get a 5/8 and a 1/2 inch, because sometimes I'm switching depending on what I'm doing. I might be going from a 5/8 to a 1/2 inch in certain areas of the chair. So that's interesting. The thing about a half inch, which is the longer one, Jimmy, if you're using that and you don't need to use it, that's going to be a very difficult tack to put in because it means you have to hammer more.
Really?
And the more you hammer a decorative nail, the more can go wrong because it's just a dome shape.
Right.
That's hard. So if you're using an oversized
They'll
shaft,
break off.
it's too much hammering, and you're going to end up really frustrated, really, and bending it and having to start over again. Sometimes my shop, I run out of 5/8. I only have half inch. I'm actually cutting it down. If you can get a half inch, this is a little tip for people. They get a half inch, you can cut that down to a smaller size. Sometimes it works better in certain areas that don't require as much of a shaft. Does that make sense?
Okay.
This is an excellent question, but that's all part of problem solving, right?
Right.
So-
But I've in a couple of projects I've done with tacks, I've never had that variation with different.
Right.
It's
Lengths.
always it's
always
just been
one length because
one length.
universally the 5/8 should work in most cases.
Right.
But when you're doing a paneled arm and you're folding the fabric under and you have cotton, usually you don't want to go through cotton, but you're going through the arm itself sometimes with the cotton. That requires a half inch. I've never heard of. She's asking about a 1 inch. I've never heard of a 1 inch shaft. Maybe Malcolm can, or is Randy on here too,
Yes.
Patrick? Have you guys ever seen a 1 inch shaft on a decorative tack? I don't think I've ever seen that.
No, I think
What
it wouldn't be a tack.
5/8 and half inch.
Right.
That's
I think it would be not a tack. I think it'd be something else.
Yeah, a 1 inch would be too long for those decorative tacks. I don't see that. But anyhow, so she's probably wanting to order tacks. But I would say if she's going to order, she'd order 2 boxes. Let's say French Natural, or the 5/8 and the half inch.
Okay.
Right. And that's done, Jimmy. Nico, she has been prolific in her work, and she's posted something here. She's always posting. You remember Nico on
Yes.
there? Yeah. We encourage this, you guys. Post as much as you can on the Facebook. Just
Yeah, it's
the
nice
more-
to be able to say, if we can show the project at the same time you're talking.
I mean, this is another a way of helping others too that are trying to get started in the business and maybe move forward in the business. And one of the greatest examples I have is Blair down in Alabama.
Oh yeah.
Love that guy.
Oh, let's do a pilgrimage.
Well, he's come up and did a pilgrimage.
I think
to
we
our
should go
shop.
down. I mean, isn't it in the budget
He's
next year?
he's
Travel
Southern
expenses.
hospitality. Be
So,
prepared.
you know what? I would love. There's a place actually where is it Alabama first and Georgia, or is it Georgia Alabama on the map? I can't.
Oh,
remember.
now you're asking me geography questions, Jimmy.
I'm sorry. Okay, let's go back to upholstery. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I probably can answer to you on furniture. Let's say the wing chairs start. No, I'm just kidding. So let's get back to Nico. She says, "Hi, folks. Anyone used ever use oilcloth to upholster a kitchen step stool chair? If not oilcloth, maybe vinyl. I want something that'll be easy to wipe clean. Any suggestions?" Well, we're having a lot of problems with vinyls, faux vinyl, fake vinyls. I think if you can get some vintage Naugahyde, you're better off.
Yeah, the Naugahyde is definitely
You're
the
better
more
off.
durable. I remember.
Yeah, I mean, it's thick, it's harder to work than the newer ones, which stretch a mile, but then they start peeling after about a year. We stopped carrying them. I've had enough of them. I had a couple of bad experiences, and I can't afford to upholster a leather or faux leather or leather. Part of the problem with the leather industry, and you guys could correct me if you want, but I have a theory about it, that a lot of the fine leathers were from Italy. They were Italian-made, northern Italy, I believe, and that's where they got hit really hard with COVID.
Oh yeah,
That was in the
yeah. I
beginning
mean, that
of
was in the
everything.
very beginning. They got
they
slammed.
were using dyes from China. They were themselves older. It's an older people working on the leathers, and I think they lost people, and I think the industry has not recovered very well. I'm seeing leathers that aren't dyed right, and I'm seeing faux leathers that are breaking down after a couple of years, and I don't want anything to do with it. So that's why I'm recommending to her, try to find a vintage Naugahyde. It's probably the best way you can go.
Or very durable.
Any questions, comments, or about Jimmy especially? I mean, do we get rid of him or do we keep him? That's the survey.
Should
that I
it,
want.
should it be paid above the union scale?
I'm just kidding, Jimmy.
Yeah, well, my
Somebody
union,
once
my
said-
union 6 and 7/8 will be calling you soon.
Oh yeah, they don't like that. It was that the number one rule, not to make fun of the
Yeah,
the
yeah,
union
the
workers?
star. Yeah, I'm actually I'm the president and vice president, treasurer, and the only member.
Treasure, that got my attention.
Yeah, I'm sure it did,
So it's
yeah,
like two
yeah.
for me, one for you.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that how
How many
it
days
goes?
of the week? 8, 9, 10? Okay.
Mona says, can someone direct me to a video class, etc., that teaches traditional upholstery for Victorian parlor chair with deep button tufting? No foam, though. I can easily find tutorials using foam, but I want only natural cotton. Thanks so much. Patrick, don't we have a video with the hand tufting? I'm pretty sure we
yeah,
do.
wasn't it that big couch? Maybe it was in a different video.
But we don't have an online class doing the deep tufting, which is
Well, that's
really
why I say,
detailed.
you know, what we talked about a couple of weeks ago. We said if we could do bits and pieces of pulling things together,
Yeah.
you know, the small things to, I mean, you know, the board of directors meeting is when next
Well,
week?
that would be
Next,
cool. I don't know if that's possible. Is it that? For the next class,
Well,
find a chair that's...
part of the problem with us, you know, we're a full operational upholstery shop. We're busy. I mean, Jimmy had to come in. I'll give you, for instance, I work 6 days a week. I take Sundays off. 6 days a week. I'm really in early and late at night. I mean, Saturday was a brutal day for me because I had to meet. I was in Boston at 6 o'clock in the morning to get ready to meet Jimmy. He came at 7:15 or so.
yeah.
And we had to go to a high-rise, very fancy high-rise, and pick up 2 very heavy sofas.
Yeah.
And we had to use a service elevator, and there were other people using it. It's a real mess. I mean,
We were there for a good hour and a half.
at
hour,
least,
2
yeah,
hours, yeah.
and that was an easy.
Thank God we had the freight elevator.
Yeah, I mean, we
We-
had to move mirrors that were in the way out in the. We had
Pieces
to
of
open
artwork.
up double fire doors. We had Jimmy was smart enough to have door stops for me. They didn't have a door stop in the building.
I'm shocked, especially in the freight elevator
I mean,
area.
we ran into, talk about problem solving, and then getting them out of the apartment was
Yes.
a little tricky too, because they had put, you know, these are the things that happen, and so they put a stop, a real professional stop on where the door couldn't open up all because they had artwork behind. They didn't
Right.
want the artwork to be here.
We couldn't have got those things out
They
of
wouldn't
there.
have gone out. Thank God they had a second door that
Yes.
we could get out, but we had to go down a long hallway
Yes.
and turn it around, and each piece, which was the big fully upholstered sofas. So that was, you know, that day. So getting back to the point is that we don't always have a lot of time to do the YouTube videos. We do devote time for the online classes.
Yes, that's a work
But
in
the
progress.
YouTube videos have taken a hit because, so Saturday, I mean, I was tired when I got to work because that wasn't really part of the day, part of the work day.
Right.
Part of the actual work, I mean. And so that day extended, and I was tired. That's my problem. But we're getting up there in age there, Jimmy.
Oh, well, you might
You
be,
look good
but-
for 82.
I know. That Ben Gay extra senior
You use
industrial
the extra
strength.
stuff, the industrial, the prototype stuff, right?
Yes, the real super hot.
You're the spokesman for them, aren't you?
Well, I'm trying to be.
Yeah.
They've been ignoring me for months, but I think that's just I keep hearing that click in a dial tone. I think it's just a bad line.
Yeah, you know, if they ain't calling, how's that expression go? If they ain't calling, if the phone ain't ringing, something like that. Now, I did want to make another comment to Mona about foam. You don't want to watch any tufting tutorial using foam. It's a waste of your time.
Now,
But
why-
using foam is a complete waste of your time. If you're gonna be commissioned to do tufting, you have to use horsehair. No doubt about it.
Okay,
I mean,
I would. Well, I
the
would.
problem with, first of all, you can't use tufting, even horsehair tufting, on a seat. Forget it. No seat should have tufting, or buttons for that matter. If you notice, the Victorians were smart. They knew. The Victorians, you always see an upholstered seat with no buttons, and all the back is tufted, which is beautiful. They know that you can't be sitting on tufting. It's going to unfold,
Right.
and the buttons are going to pop. Foam is impossibly ridiculous to do it on with foam because foam collapses too much.
Well, it's his. It's easy. I mean,
Oh,
that
well,
much pressure.
horsehair. If you're gonna do a seat, if you're gonna be brave enough to do a seat, use a horsehair because it's got the right density, and it's
Even the rubberized horsehair.
no rubber. Somebody wanted to know. And that's another thing. Somebody wanted to know if they could just pad out with all rubberized horsehair. Like they wanted
To build it up.
know if this got into the show or even in the emails. That's a bad idea too. I mean, rubberized horses should only be used over spring work, and that's it. Somebody called me actually, and they had the idea. If you have these ideas, it's fine as long as they're practical.
Well, they want to find out if it's going to last.
They wanted to use all batting with the rubberized horsehair, which is not what you should do. The rubberized horsehair should only be used over a springs burlap, over the burlap, over the springs.
Okay.
It's really not intended as a batting beyond that. I mean, you can use it as a filler here and there, but not as a primary batting. Your primary batting still is your horsehair, your foam, a good foam. That's like the primary. That's like your oomph. That's where you get the other stuff. The rubberized horse is only, in my opinion, designed to take the curse, as they say, off the spring edges, trying to smooth it out beyond the burlap. That's all. And as a bat, it is counted as batting, but it's the foundation batting, not primary.
Well, people are looking at what they can do and what trying to get away with.
It's like being a chef, a good chef with the ingredients. Jimmy, you know this. You made me, by the way, Jimmy made me a beautiful
zucchini bread.
Zucchini bread, and I thank you very much. But if you took one ingredient out of that,
now I know what I have to do to make it that way. So if I'm taking it away, I know it's not. I feel like it's not going to be right. I don't think I will have.
You're a perfectionist with you.
Well, I try. I mean, I definitely, when I make something, I definitely don't want to screw somebody out.
It's your passion. You
yes,
put a lot
I
of
love
effort
it.
into
I love it.
Yeah.
I'll be doing it tonight.
So Jimmy cooks. You dance. You do upholstery. You do sewing. You took a sewing class.
Yes, I need to go work on my sewing. You know that.
Ballroom dancing or square dancing or whatever.
No ballroom, but no square dancing.
You should try square dance. I was telling Jimmy that there's a barn up in New Hampshire, and I was telling you this, and Rose, that the floor, it's such an old barn. It's like a 300-year-old barn.
Go ahead.
And the floor is slanted like this. And the call, they call this the call, right?
Yes.
The call is take your partner, swing her around, go uphill. Right? Then swing around again, go downhill, and watch the open window. That's an actual call up there.
Well, why don't you? We'll double some night. We'll see how you bonsai buckaroo.
No, you don't want to see me dance.
Oh, come on, have a little fun.
It's not exactly graceful.
Well, nobody is there.
Think of an elephant in a tutu.
Hey, look I've seen Bugs Bunny and I've seen elephants in ballerina.
You have?
Yes, they are out there.
Malcolm said he's a Renaissance man.
He is. And we've gotten totally off track again, thanks to Jimmy.
He also says, hope you charge for that delivery you were talking about.
You know what, guys? I offered free pickup and delivery. It's one of the reasons why I got the job.
But, really?
Yeah.
You're kidding?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I should have. 3 hours, Jimmy.
Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't like, the other, here, guys, right here. There's the pieces of the furniture, and we had 3 pieces to be brought up anyway.
Yeah, we did bring pieces up the delivery.
Right.
Yeah.
So we kind of were going back and forth. Oh, how are we going to do this? Okay, so we brought up 2 chairs.
Right.
Brought a sofa down.
Right.
And then we brought the 3rd chair up.
Yeah.
And the other and it was like.
And now this place was fancy. I'll tell you how fancy it was. It had
two Commonwealth Avenue in Boston.
Oh no, you're not supposed to give the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Beep that out. Beep, 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 beep. Well, what else do we got, Jim? Before we get to Jimmy on the YouTube, are there any questions or comments? You just had one comment.
Randy says, I would like to buy Jimmy a beer or two. That's
absolutely.
Dangerous idea.
Can you imagine him drinking? This is him sober.
I know. I might be more funny next time. Who knows?
All right, Jimmy's going to read some YouTube
Okay, this is one from George Harden. This is the Bentwood Rocker, the Restoration Part 3. I love this. I have one that I have been working on for a very long time and can now finish it. What kind of tacks did you use to hold the back on?
Can I see the thumbnail on that, Jimmy?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
You don't remember?
Well, we got 400 videos.
I know. It's like, God, when you tell me you actually remember which one it is.
Oh, that thumbnail is so small. I would imagine if I was using tacks, he's talking upholstery tacks. I
Yes.
imagine they're the 6-ounce tacks.
Okay.
So that the 6-ounce tacks are the universally used. Then you got the 14s, 12s and 14s, which we use in springs to tie the twines down. And we have 3-ounce tacks that are I don't use those a lot, but those would be used on cambric or something,
Okay.
on a chair.
Okay. So the next one's from Kathy M. This is on the upholstering dining chair part 4, the arms and back upholstery. Love the staple gun. What kind is it?
Well, I love talking about the staple gun that we have because I think it's the best in the industry, and we have them for sale on Upholstery on Broadway.
Yeah.
And it's a BEA gun, air gun, and the thing that distinguishes it from all other guns is that it has a low cycle mechanism in it.
Okay.
That it can work on the low cycle on the compressor, which is really important because what happens when you're using all other staple guns, the ones you get at Home Depot, try to avoid, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have used that brand name, but a big box store, let's say, they're not really a great gun.
Do you
know what makes them not really a great gun?
what's that?
Is they don't work on the low cycle. So what happens is on the low cycle, that's when the machine is about to kick back on.
Okay.
So you got 80 pounds and it goes down. Now some people say, why don't you just turn it up and you won't have that problem? Turning it up's a problem. You could have a staple come out too far and embed itself and go right through the fabric.
Oh.
So about 80 pounds, 60 to 80. I use 80. I know some people are doing 60. I do about 80 pounds per square inch.
Okay.
So what that means is on the lower end of the cycle, it's dropping, right? Before it kicks back on. Most of the guns fail at that point. And so when a gun fails, that means it gets jammed.
Okay.
The staple gets jammed in the hammer part of the air gun. So you're going to go in there and try to get the staple out. Sometimes you have to take it apart. Taking it apart over and over again is a problem too.
Yes.
But sometimes people want to do it the easy way. They'll take a regulator and open up the hammer and try to get the... I've done it.
No, well.
But guess what? I had this BEA gun for years. Not one time have I had to do that. Not one time. So it's an expensive gun, but it's worth it. So that's the gun I use.
Okay. The next one is applying trim to the French chairs. This is from D. Smith. It is, thank you for demonstrating this.
Which one was this, Jim? What type of trim?
Applying trim to French chairs.
Is it double welt or is it?
I'm not.
Can I see the thumbnail again? Which one is it?
The second one.
So we may have been showing or demonstrating either double welt or GIMP, which you wouldn't think that there's much to learn about that, but there is. So we appreciate the comment.
Okay, the next one is the Upholstery Show Live. This is from Randy. Kevin, thank you for the advice on the chase. I think I am going to respring the seat part, but it may be just the simplest. I think I built enough money into the new foam that will cover the spring work. On another subject of other comments, let me start again. On another subject, one of the other comments read touched on a good idea. That would be offering you half-hour consultations via Zoom. I'm pretty sure that a lot of us see the value of your time and opinion. I, for one, would be willing to pay for it, somewhere in the $50 range for a half-hour chat at a mutually agreed time. That would be a big help to those who are not local and unable to take a person in class.
I have a funny answer to this one, but we've tried it.
Yeah.
We've tried the Zoom and it didn't work so well, and I think part of the reason it didn't.
So we still apologize to Erica.
Part of the reason is, if I'm just going to be on the surface and tell you that it's kind of hard teaching. There's a left and a right problem. Like the camera's looking. Patrick, can you explain this a little bit better than I can?
Well, you have to say.
I'm saying to her, and then furniture has a left and a right arm. So I found myself in one of the tutorials that we tried to do on Zoom, I found myself trying to explain where I was on the chair more than...
Well, because you're right. Again, your left is my right.
Well, then again, you say that's still an issue with the online classes, but it isn't, though.
It's not an issue in the online class.
No, but on the Zoom, unless you're in the Zoom class, this person who has the problem shows you, this is what I have. This is the problem I have with an arm, with certain certain particular. They'd have to show you, and you'd have to see it.
Well, they were. It was doing that.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But you know how weathermen have to reacquaint themselves
With
with
the double screen.
Yeah, do you understand that?
yeah.
Maybe the technology has improved, but the old time weather people had to. They're seeing it backwards.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can describe.
Well, you'd have to be specific with regard to.
So when you got an upholsterer that has a touch of dyslexia, can you imagine how hard
Oh,
that
is
is? So it didn't work, but Patrick, I always felt. I know somebody's got a question to comment. I always felt technology will catch up.
Yes.
And I think it would be solved. I know that this might sound a little silly, but you know, in Star Wars, when you saw the Princess Leia,
the hologram.
Hologram, right?
Yes.
I think hologram technology, Patrick. Where are we on
So
that?
bring the person into the class from the.
That's right. She can actually be standing here with me in a hologram.
Ask Penner, do you make custom cushion covers with zippers? If someone sent you the fabric and dimensions.
Do I do it?
Yeah. Well, are they talking about like
will I do
sending us the fabric and then mailing it back?
Who is it?
S. Penner. I think it's Sarah. I think so.
Well,
I'm not sure.
We would do it, but I don't know how cost effective it would be for her. For instance, on a regular seat cushion on a chair, we get $150 for that. And then the shipping, by the time you do the shipping and everything, you're probably up to wherever she lives. I don't know where she
So I guess
lives.
it depends on how badly she wants you to do it. I guess we would do it, right? You could-
Well, we could do it for her, no problem.
Is she local?
She would have to pay shipping. If she's if she's local,
That's one thing.
that's one thing. But I really do.
I don't think you've ever done that before.
I
Well, you could do it.
I do want to caution her though. If she's talking about custom cushions for chairs and sofas,
Mm-hmm.
Covers specifically.
right? I like to cut my cover on the piece. I don't like to take an old pattern and use it because oftentimes things can go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings up another problem. So if she was going to do that, she would have to make me a pattern
Oh, okay.
and then send it if she was willing to do that and send me just the yardage. On a typical seat cushion, you need 1.5 yards of fabric. Doesn't come up. This has never come up ever for me. But I guess if she's willing to pay, we would be willing to do it, right, Pat?
Yep.
Any other comments or questions before Jimmy gets going on the next one?
Nope. No.
Okay.
Well, this one is the Upholstery show Live. This is from Janine a couple of weeks ago. It would be interesting to see you work without the commentary in your daily work. Would have to see what it is like first to see if it had any ongoing benefit as you're explaining the process. Is a great benefit and point of difference in your videos, I think. I love the banter between Kevin and Jimmy. It's funny. I would be happy for you to give the lady in Australia my email address. You have it, as I'm a yearly subscriber to the online classes. So I can perhaps help her with supplies. I would certainly recommend to her the online classes.
So did we follow up with her, Patrick? There was somebody inquiring about buying supplies, and we just felt it would be better to find somebody else in Australia to help her with that.
Yeah,
because
local.
It would have been cheaper to send you on a flight to Australia.
I'm good.
With the
I'm
luggage.
off. I have a long. I'm off. I have 2 days. I could call in sick. It's fine. They'll cover me.
Yeah. So
Randy has. This is again the Upholstery Show Live. This is from Randy again. One more question pops to mind on springs. Are there some general rules, guidelines on how to select the correct spring height for a flat seat with cushions and a tight seat with a crown?
yeah.
Okay. This may be a Midwest thing, but my supplier lists their springs by wire gauge and height in inches. For seat springs, they list a number 9 gauge in heights from 4 to 12 inches. Any idea how spring number relates to height in inches?
Absolutely. Anything with a cushion. So if you have a cushion on a sofa, you're gaining 4 inches with the cushion.
Okay.
So you have to. So you have to look at the seating as overall. You have to say, in that situation, you have a seat and you have a cushion, but they're all one unit. So on that type of a seat, probably I would recommend a hard edge on the front. When I say hard edge, you would have a piece of 1.5 inch maybe edge roll along there too. It's not completely hard, but it's opposed to a wire edge, which if you watch the videos, you know I don't like those. They don't last, and they're harder to do, but they don't last. That's the main reason why I don't like them. But a number 6 spring, a number 1 or 2 spring, which is it's funny. I can't get that's the old English way, and that's how I was learned. But what that means is a rung of 6 rungs or 7 rungs. That's what you need for a seat like that. For an upholstered seat, it depends on what you're using for batting a lot of times. I don't like to get an oversized spring. They have them going up to the 12-inch, as he says, 12-inch, or number 8 spring, which I don't like. They're too big. I would go with the number 6 spring, you know, on an upholstered seat. And, and the batting of your choice, whether it be, definitely we talked about this before a little while ago, burlap, an 8-way tie spring, burlap, and rubberized horsehair, and then from there it could be real horsehair, it could be foam, or it could be even kapok, something like that. But that's it.
All right.
As a follow-up, what if I send the old ones?
If the old ones fit properly, she can do that. If she sends the old cushions
Yeah.
and we just copy them,
Yeah.
as long as she knows that she's going to get the exact same size, if that's fine with her, and keep in mind, a quote I gave her was for $150 was for a seat on a chair. If they're sofa cushions, they go up to like $225 each. Okay.
So I'd say probably follow up in an email. You can give all the details. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one, this is regarding the caning to upholstery conversion, upholster, and preserving your caning. This is from the Restyled Pieces Boutique. I just want to send out a huge thank you. I am a furniture refinisher, and I have a chair with the same kind of seat that had broken caning. I would have never done upholstery before, mind you, but this chair I have went so well with the vanity. I refinished it, and I just had to try it out. I did it all due to your video. I watched it,
Oh, that's great.
I'll bet 10 times, and I played the video whenever I needed to stop and play it back while I was upholstering my chair. It's not perfect, but really good. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your process. I am so grateful.
That warms my heart. Now, the advantage you YouTubers have over when I was learning, I was shown once, and that was it. Nobody wanted to show twice. As a matter of fact, it was hard enough to get somebody to show you one time. Because back then it was very competitive, more of a competitive market, and I was in about a mid-sized shop, and there were, seasoned upholsterers there, and younger upholsterers, and nobody wanted to show you their craft because they didn't want their job to be taken away. That was the perception. That wasn't really true.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
But you'd come over and to see, and they'd get in your way. I mean, so you guys get to see the YouTube videos and play them again.
As they say, the secrets of upholstery.
Right, and Blair did this. Blair told me he watched them over and over again before. You should see some of the stuff. You've seen some of the stuff he's been posting on the Facebook. Mm-hmm. He's done some amazing work, and he's a young man.
You're gonna go from starting out blossoming to.
So I think what he did really, what I'll use Blair as an example, with the YouTube videos and the online classes. And by the way, you get the online classes at Upholstery on Broadway. Don't forget to subscribe. I keep forgetting to say that. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe because we're up to 21,000. We'd like to get to 30.
Yes.
And we earn these. This is the school of hard knocks. These subscriptions. We're not out there dressed as zombies going through drive-throughs. Well, Jimmy won't do it anyhow. I mean, one time.
You paid me well. I mean,
that's what you're getting all kids that are subscribing, and you look good doing that. But these are hard earned. Now, what we did one time want you to go to the aquarium and maybe upholstery.
I'm not paying $35 to go to the aquarium. You guys wouldn't even pop up the money for that. God Almighty!
We were going to sponsor you.
You wouldn't pay for parking. You didn't pay for the admission. I mean, my God, man, that's like an $85 a day.
But so. Thank you for that comment, and we appreciate the feedback.
So we're going to do one last one. This is the
Okay.
Upholstery Show with Kevin. Pricing tips starting on your own. This is from Robert. I'm redoing my 4 dining room chairs. The seat has 3/4 inch wood with a bit shaped to the chair with curves and opening in the center, with 3 pieces of stretch material from both directions. It has a 2 to 2.5 inch foam shape to the curves in the 3/4 inch wood. It has a simple piping with material stapled beneath the wood, and then the fabric is stapled beneath the wood as well. The seat is then screwed to the bottom. I unstaple the stretch pieces and re-stretch them. I have 4 inches of high-density foam I bought for the bottom. I need to cut it to the shape of the board. I'll sew material to the single piping, staple the fabric to the bottom of the board, and then screw the finished product to the chair. I've watched your first 4 videos. Any concerns, any suggestions in the reshaping of the foam? Love your videos, Bob.
So did you answer this yet,
So,
Michaela?
no, I
Hold on a
didn't.
second. One thing, that's blinking. Does that mean it's going to be about to lose power? The microphone, and is it already lost power?
No, so I did not answer this yet because we didn't have any other estimates, so.
No, we didn't.
No, we don't have any of the estimates asking for, like, prices on.
Okay, so we're not going to be doing that segment. Thank you, Jimmy.
It's the top one.
So I figured we could just answer that one.
Oh, okay. So Jimmy just read it. Let's answer by my first. I think I gave my impressions earlier about, I look at it, Michaela seems to have a better way of answering this. She's usually pretty good at the organizational part of this. So what do you
Are
think?
you saying you're
Michaela?
not organized, Kevin?
Well, to me, it's like, I don't know. Come on.
Okay.
What do you think, Michaela?
Well, to me, it looks like he's pretty much just asking if, he wants to know, should I use burlap over the webbing first? That was one of the questions. Because some of the ones he said aren't even questions.
Well,
And
the
then
answer to that is yes.
And then he asks, should I put something over the foam before putting down the fabric?
You know what really the thought that comes to mind is that the kit, the electronic book on the website would be his best bet, because that's got all the basics, it's got all the questions that he's asking right on there, and it's cheap. How much is it? I can't remember. You go into Upholstery on Broadway, you can tell them. That's my first thought, is the electronic book, and download that. I mean, ideally, you should buy the kit with it. That would be appreciated. We've had 1 person or 2 people. Not many people have done that.
No.
I don't know why. I thought it would be the most popular thing that we had, but it comes with a book, a hard copy book, and the electronic book that they can do just by that. But he's a beginner. He might be a handyman, but he's a beginner in upholstery. I mean, he's got to start
Well,
somewhere.
I mean, there are some skills you can pass over and hopefully apply, but there are, that second or third step that you just cannot
Right.
get back to.
So what are you going to say, Michaela? Is that part of what your answer will be? Just to,
Yeah, I can write that.
you can answer the question about the burlap. Yeah, you're going to go over the webbing with burlap, but how do you put the burlap on? I mean, how can you expect me to give him all these?
And Malcolm makes a good point. Maybe just send him a link to a course that fits that the best.
Well, I think I know what I just suggested, Patrick. The electronic book we have on all of the steps in
so
upholstery.
yeah, you could
basic
do the
steps.
fundamentals of upholstery.
Yeah, the fundamentals
Yeah,
of
include that
upholstery,
link in
upholstery
there.
on Broadway. That's what Michaela's
Can
going
you
to.
send me that?
Yeah.
And that I forgot it was fundamentals of upholstery, Michaela. That's the name of it.
have to show that.
Yeah, show it on camera.
We're gonna, after Michaela's done with her answer, and I think we'll just let her do that.
Well, Jimmy just showed me a picture of a cool sofa that he found.
Oh, hold on a second, before we get to Jimmy, are there any comments or questions?
I wasn't here, so I don't know what he meant by that. But Malcolm says, my friends and I call it YouTube University.
Which one, the other class?
I think we should be certified. You could.
No, we need to learn
You could
something.
become a full-term professor.
Yeah.
No, Jimmy's throwing a monkey.
You get all the
wrench.
professors together and start the university.
Yeah, kind of like, didn't the Three Stooges do that? They were, actually, they were
Are
three.
you equating me with a stooge?
Oh yeah, those gentlemen. Yeah, they were They started out with gas station attendants, and they moved up to professor.
You know, they were upholsterers.
Yes, they were.
They had a segment on upholstery in there.
Yeah, but that's why I say if you had that gun, we make millions.
That's true, Jimmy. Now, before you show your picture,
No, I'll show
we have
you
to
after.
call
I
in
just-
the
He doesn't want
census.
to spoil it.
Shouldn't we call in the census to look at that before
Oh
we?
my god.
Hold on, Michaela wants to say something.
Well,
She never says
change
anything.
the
So
subject.
his other question was, should I put something over the phone before putting down the fabric? What's the answer to that?
That's also funny, but, the best thing I can do is offer, a slipcover person who's crossed over to upholstery would say to put muslin on there, but that's not necessary. Only time
Yeah,
muslin,
He's asking burlap.
no, burlap's a bad idea. You know why?
Why?
Well, because you can't tack it for one. It's not, I mean, you can tack it, but for that purpose, when you stretch burlap and go to tack it or staple it, it won't hold. And so burlap's a bad, see, this is another example of, not knowing the proper supplies to use, but he's asking. I wouldn't use burlap for that. I would use muslin. He can use a 1/2-inch Dacron, because you could, the 1/2-inch Dacron does two things at once. It's the muslin and it's a batting. So instead of putting a muslin on and the batting, you could do all in one. It's I don't know if that makes sense to you, but slip covering, I mean, the only time you use muslin is over springs, over seat springs. You've put the horsehair on, and you put the muslin on, and the reason you put the muslin on is that you can use a regulator through the muslin to adjust the horsehair. And I've seen people use burlap for that. I don't like that. I think it does as good a job. Muslin is needed for that, I think.
Okay.
So when you take an old piece of furniture apart, and you see all these holes in it. And
Holes? What are you talking
the
about?
holes, that was done by a real upholsterer with the regulator. It's not
Maybe
mods.
we could do it like an upholstery comedy show. What do you think?
I think we already are doing it, Jimmy.
Oh.
You just added to it.
Yeah.
Why don't we do a serious show and really do something different?
I don't know. We probably wouldn't go anywhere.
All right, do you want to show the picture?
No, I want to show you. But this is something that I told
Are you all set, Michaela? I'm sorry to interrupt
No.
you, but she's all set. All right.
She's more important than this.
Much more.
This is afterwards.
Yeah.
But this is something I found on Facebook community, and Patrick and I have talked about it before anyway. But I said it to you before about expanding, always giving a good thing for the. But this is what.
This is your dream sofa? This is
No,
what
I don't
you-
even. I have to find out the.
This is when you try to go to sleep, you count these as they're going over the fence, these
Yeah.
sofas.
No. There's other things, Kevin, in this life that's a little more important than that.
So what's so special about that sofa?
No, well, you know what it is? I said to you, maybe if we did a project.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we could.
Yeah, we could. I
We
mean,
could.
people are always asking about sofas and love seats.
Well, I think, Patrick and I have talked about it, and of course, I know it's busy, so you guys, we have to figure out time-wise and
I
all
know
that.
people would love it. We did what's that one we did, the 17-part sofa that we have on YouTube, Patrick? That is very popular. Oh, there you go. There's the tufting. That was tufted.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure that was tufted.
Oh, okay.
So the person earlier can look at that.
Yeah.
Not deep tufting, though. Actually, you know what type of tufting those were? I just remembered. It was a casual tufting.
Oh,
There's a big difference, and that was foam, and that was a reed upholstery, but it was with the understanding that it was a casual tufting, meaning you don't get the deep tuftings like Mona was asking about. So Mona, I don't think we have done a deep tufting, so maybe that's one thing we should write down, Patrick, that we should do.
deep tough.
So Jimmy, do you want to show that picture to our audience?
I think,
You're going
we'll-
to keep that secret to yourself?
well, I want to see. I want to see if it's still available and see what the length of it is, because if I'm going to have it for myself, I want to be sure that it's going to
So
be.
you don't want to show it because
Not yet.
we have a secret Santa in the Boston area.
Oh, you
Now,
do?
have a secret sofa.
Okay, everybody, laugh. Let's laugh together, everyone. Don't put. I don't do an open mic night. That's all I
Oh,
can tell
no,
you.
no.
I-
Well, I was thinking about karaoke, Jimmy. Would you like to sing one of your
no.
favorite songs, Jimmy?
Oh, can you
a little Christmas song?
sing over by the window and I'll help you out?
That would be the square dance. All right.
If I think of words for that, I'll let you know. God Almighty, the things I have to do for this place.
I know it's the same jokes too. We should get new material, but
Yeah,
our writers.
we should get probably new hosts.
Look at our.
If we could turn the camera around.
Well, we're not relevant for half of the audience out there. Always.
I
saying, "What are
know,
they
I know. We
talking
go
about?"
back to the Flintstone era. People go
yeah.
like, "Oh God, these
Even
guys are
you,
really."
you didn't even get a Seinfeld reference.
I'm not into. I wasn't into a lot of the shows.
Okay.
I think I was working nights at the time, so I
Yeah,
really
that's-
missed an awful lot of the.
you gotta know if you know you gotta know.
I
Seinfeld,
didn't
you're
watch.
gonna-
I didn't watch Friends. God forgive me. I mean, I see it all the time.
Well,
and-
we did the friend Sophie. We like to
yes.
talk about.
Yeah.
that.
Well, then you should probably like sit back and probably pull up a chair and put your smoking jacket on and nice cocktail.
I think I was
Maybe
thinking,
what is
I'll
that? A
be
Shirley
there.
Temple?
Jimmy, do you want to talk about your online class?
No.
I know you're avoiding the subject.
No, you can talk about it today.
I know. Jimmy had a difficult time in class today.
It was
being challenged.
I don't know what it was today.
Challenged. Part of the problem is his fabric. Part of the problem is the curves of the chair, and probably he was having a bad day.
Might have been it.
But
He came in, he's having a good day, then the chair got in the way.
Yeah.
But you did manage to stitch up almost the whole thing.
Yep.
He's doing a hand stitching. Jimmy went from the small needle, which I recommended, to a big needle, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem with the big needle is, needle width is determined a lot of times your stitch length. I don't know
Okay.
if you realize that. So when you're using a bigger needle,
You
you have
gotta.
to be a little bit more dexterity.
Yeah, a little. You got to know that the
Your
distance.
dexterity has to be a little bit improved.
More on
that
on
because
point.
You have to force the needle to do a smaller stitch. It's not a natural curve.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what. Now the problem with the small needles is when you have big hands, and especially cracked hands now with the weather, at least for me, gets a little harder.
Okay.
So you have to introduce. Sometimes I'll tape my fingers up with masking
Really?
tape. Sometimes I'll use you have to be really careful when you're using. And I didn't get to that with you.
Okay.
You have to use a pair of pliers, but when you're using a pair of pliers, because
Yes.
those are pushing, you have to still use the curve of your hand
Well,
because you'll break the needle very
but I
easily.
have done that. I have
Yeah.
not stitched in years, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like I say about repetition with regard to certain things, certain basic things.
But the nice thing about hand stitching, I was telling Jimmy, is that you don't have to be perfect. As a matter of fact, a little inconsistency, a little puckering here and there is a good thing. It's probably the only thing in upholstery that you can kind of let yourself go, as long as you don't see the stitches.
Right.
But so people to see and say, hey, that was hand stitched, that's what you want.
Right.
So you could possibly do a really better job and
Hopefully.
not even see any of the puckering, which, believe it or not, a professional upholsterer will purposely do a couple of puckers in there just to make sure people know that they hand stitch.
Well, on the other side of it, we'll do you be using the metal.
We're going to use the modern technique on the
Yes,
other side.
and
So this
that-
online class coming up, this wing chair class, Patrick can't wait because he's got all kinds of things. He's going to put you up in the sky with a pair of
flying away.
angel wings.
You guys, you guys are
Into
beautiful.
upholstery heaven.
I mean, you're using the shell back as what? Where is the beach in Florida?
Yeah,
And I didn't even get to go. I mean,
we're off the beach now. You're in the air, flying around with the
No,
wing chair.
we're still in the channel back
And
there.
in each new episode, the tide keeps coming in closer. And
Yeah, why don't you have it like a
By the end, it'll be
tsunami?
swept out.
Yeah, that's what you should have. You should have a scene of a tsunami coming with just me sitting and
In the last
standing.
episode, you won't even be there.
Yeah.
Just be the chair by itself.
And it's all Scotch guarded, so it's okay. The chair will be okay.
Yeah, but I'll be like 10 miles away,
Well,
probably
you'll be in
being.
your Aquaman cave somewhere out. in
You
the
guys
middle
aren't
of
going
the
to do
ocean.
that. You guys aren't going to do that to me, are you? Oh, good God, man.
We don't have that kind of technology.
Oh, really? Thank God. I thought you
He
did.
could
I know your
dress-
father would. He'd like to be doing.
He could dress you as a mermaid.
Oh my God. Anyway.
Okay, I guess that's the end of this show. But Patrick, are there any more comments?
It is amazing I stay here as long as I do. Oh
Randy
my!
did mention the book. He said $25 well spent on the fundamentals.
Oh, good. I didn't know that that's what we were getting for that.
Well, just the book. We sell that
Just
too.
the electronic book?
Just
or
the book by itself.
There you go.
Oh, well, okay.
It is a good bargain.
Mm.
That took me, you know how many hours that took, but I'm not going to cry over spilt hours now at this point.
Well, you could
It's
be a
done.
bet. Yeah, but you know what?
1991.
1991, Jimmy. How old were you back then?
Over everything and made it
40.
nice and neat.
40 years old.
That's ba-
Wow.
Yeah.
It's had an upgrade since then. So.
It-
Michaela
it-
worked hard
Yes,
on it.
I redid everything.
You did, didn't you, Michaela? That wasn't easy, was it?
Maybe we'll send Randy the old copy so we can so we can tell the difference.
I think, are there any pictures of you in there when that was?
Oh no, let's go to the. I guess this will be the end.
No, but we actually had a
Jimmy's-
VHS tape that we lost of him in 1991.
Yeah. The missing tapes of when Kevin was just a tad younger.
We tried to find it, but I think it was destroyed.
Yeah.
I think
So nobody
so.
can
I
look-
think it's still out there.
You know what? What's really funny is when I look at the first few on YouTube videos and I see this young man here, and I say like, what the hell happened? Was it the lighting?
Oh, he's still thinking.
Randy said angel wings on Jimmy, but I think that's a stretch.
Hey!
Maybe we should end the Q&A before Jimmy explodes.
Yeah, like my God, man! They were supposed to wait till I go. Like I'm out of the. I'll leave and you guys can start on me.
Remember, he has the power to do anything with those tabs.
I know. I'm in favor of him, not you.
I can't do it. He can do anything, but he's always made you in a good light. Now,
I know. He's yeah.
You
I'm
look
good.
You look better than you actually
I know.
are.
Well, you know what? When we win the lottery, we're all going to take that little trip down to. We're going. Randy's in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
Oh, that's out there.
Bring your fishing rod. That's all they do out there. Fly fish.
That's all right. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to
I
learn.
used to do it. 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. Right down.
Really? Did you bring your
Randy
prodigals?
knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, that cheese thing isn't a lie. The cheese out there is better.
Oh, yeah, of course it is.
We went.
Yeah.
Of course
This guy
it is.
took a detour. I'll never forget it. Remember that detour you
Yes,
took?
When we picked up Finn, we had to detour to go get
I mean,
cheese.
he's saying
Yeah.
you got to go to this cheese place. It was in the
It
middle.
wasn't the one that we've been there twice. We
Remember
found
the-
one and then we
remember
went to a
the-
different one, but it was still good.
Remember the stuff on the road, Patrick?
Yeah.
Going there.
What step was this?
You tell him, Patrick.
Yeah, tell the story real quick.
Stuff on the road. We had to avoid all the stuff
Roadkill?
on the road.
No.
Big mounds.
Manure.
That stuff is great
Yeah,
for
but
the
that's
lawn.
normal. That's normal.
That stuff is
That's
great
right.
for the lawn. You didn't pick it up?
Oh, it was all over the street. You had to literally go around, in and out. Randy knows what we're talking about.
Man, you're really showing your Boston side right now. Out there, that's normal.
Normal.
Well, we don't see much manure around here. Well, maybe we do.
Yeah, let's not go into that.
Let's forget it. I think
Not
we better
for
end this.
animals.
I think we should end the show. Yes, I think.
Jimmy, why don't you close us out and talk
Well-
about the struggles of upholstery?
The struggles of upholstery. Well, it wasn't a good day for me here in the class, but that's okay. Next week, hopefully, we'll move this along a little bit better. We'll have at least that side done. We'll start with the other side, and we'll show you. Well, maybe we can show. I don't know if we can. We'll see how far we get with the class with the lesson. But everybody, have a good week. Hopefully you will appreciate the show and make some comments, some good ones, at least about me.
And I gotta add, it wasn't as bad as you made it seem.
Yeah.
All right.
It was torture, but, well, thank God I have a lot of patience with Kevin. But anyway, everyone have a good week. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jimmy. That was fun. How many people, Pat?